Thank you for plugging into this Family Life News podcast, streaming issues-driven, family-focused news.
And welcome back to another edition of Issues in Education. Mondays, during the Noon Report, we spotlight the weighty issues impacting our public schools with the good doctor, Ralph Kerr at the Teaching and Learning Institute in beautiful Houghton, New York. Well, Ralph, gender benderism seems to know no bounds in this country. In Wake County, North Carolina, maybe we should call it Woke County, North Carolina, a school district in the Raleigh area getting into a little trouble by using flashcards to teach kids their colors. These are preschool kids. Ralph, what's the controversy here?
Well, the controversy is really twofold, as I understand it. One is some of the images on the cards show what appears to be a man who is pregnant. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is the colors that are used on the flashcards feature the pride colors. June is Pride Month, so we're going to be just inundated with this kind of stuff. But the problem here is these are preschool students. Fortunately, it appears to be just one teacher, and the district has taken a really hard stand on it, and the teacher actually has been fired.
Yeah, in New York State, Senator Brad Hoylman is his name, sponsoring a bill that would force Christian teachers in public schools to use a student's preferred pronoun. A lot of Christian educators are getting around this controversy by just stating student Smith, just student in their last name. If this bill passes, those teachers would be forced to use the preferred pronoun. Talk about that, if you would, and the affront that we're seeing to parental rights in public schools.
Well, I'm hopeful that bill obviously won't pass this year. I was involved in a conversation just last week on this very topic about parental rights. The people I was talking to were educators, and I said, parents, in my mind, are the primary educators of their children, and certainly whatever's happening in school, they should have a right to know. And immediately somebody said to me, well, there might be an abusive situation, and if they knew that their child had declared their gender to be other than what they were born, they could be into abuse at home and that kind of thing. And my response was, how many students are really going to be impacted by that? My advice to parents is make sure that you tell teachers and administrators that when they're talking to you about your child, you want to know what's happening and what's going on and what conversations they've had with the people at school.
Well, I'm sure glad you had that conversation, Ralph, because I know it's happening at dinner tables all across the listening area as well.
Right.
The schools are winding down for this year. I was talking to a baseball friend of mine, a teacher in the area at Dunfield in Elmira. We had a baseball tournament there last week, and I said, hey, Seth, how many more days left? He goes, 12. He knew right exactly how many days. He didn't say, a couple of weeks. He goes, 12. So the teachers know. They have it right in their mental calendar that the days are winding down, and I'm sure the students do as well. A lot of kids are already checked out, Ralph. What are some things that teachers can do to keep their students motivated before summer break?
Yeah, that's a great question, because particularly when the weather's been really hot like it has been the last few days, this is tough. One of the things is to get them outside as much as possible. And let me give a plug here that the Genesee Rapids are hosting Kids Day on Friday, June 17th, and many of the schools in our area are coming to that game. It's at 10 in the morning, and if there are any administrators or parents that are listening, talk to your school. If you're within driving distance, come see the Rapids play. It's a good outdoor activity. Continue to challenge them to do their very best. Friendly competitions is always a good thing, piques their interest. Mix up your teaching styles for teachers. I mean, if they've always been a lecturer, try something new that would engage the students more. Allow breaks during the day so that they get a chance to do some other things, and then begin to talk about what's going to be involved next year. And then finally, just assign some fun projects if you can do that. Something that the students would enjoy that might keep them engaged for a day or two, or maybe even long term, something that would be due at the end of the year. It's a challenging time.
It sure is. I tell you, the finish line is in sight, not just for teachers and students, but hey, we've got one more Issues in Education we're going to bring you next week. But Ralph, if folks have questions, one more before the end of summer. We'll be back in the fall for sure. But Ralph, if folks have questions about anything they heard on today's program, you have a wonderful website. What is that, Ralph Kerr?
Thank you, Bob. They can simply go to yrun.org, yrun.org.